Hello, my lovelies. It's time for us to have our little chat again. And let's see. This is going to be for the week of June 1st through the 7th, right? I don't know why I always used to love this particular time frame. And I think in retrospect, it's because it's when I got out of school. So I don't know. As soon as it hits June, I seem to elevate my spirit a little bit. So let's hope that carries through for this particular June 1st through the 7th, right? And I know my brother's probably not watching, but the 1st is his birthday, so happy birthday, Bubba. And then I have another brother whose birthday is on the 6th, so happy birthday, Bubba, to you too, all right? And that's it. I don't have any more brothers. Okay, here we go. Giving a little shuffle here. Going to give us a nice little reading. Good. And fine. So I hope everybody's being sensible out there and taking good care of themselves, like we are. Let's see, is that true? Yes or no? Yes, kind of got a maybe on that one. All right, let's have a look. Wow. I'm going to lay out a little 10-card spread here, and then I'm going to superimpose card on top of card. We'll see what happens, okay? I never get upside-down cards because I'm careful about rearranging them. All of a sudden, I got an upside-down card, so maybe I'll pay attention to it this time. All right, and the outcome. Oh, that's nice. All right. So, and then I'm going to lay out another batch. Okay. All right. I don't know how you guys feel about cards, but when I was a kid, we were always playing something called pinochle, which I think is a very Midwestern thing to play. And it's like having a bunch of decks that are the 9s and above. And I was just this little kid trying to play with adults, you know, so it was pretty much a guessing game for me. But I'm telling you, every once in a while, it was like I had a magic encounter with my cards. And I think it was probably predisposing me to playing with cards now, right? Can't say that I won all the time, but if I did win, I usually had just an outstanding hand, and my family would be going, oh my God, she doesn't even know what she's doing, and she's winning. Yay. Okay. Sometimes you have to do that with life too. You don't have to really know what you're doing, but you can still win anyway, whatever winning is. Okay. All right. Let me have a look. I'm going to start at the very beginning, some things that are going on right now. We, of course, we've got this particular card, which is a growth card. And I'm not seeing the old hand. I'm starting to see more of this baby hand. This is a 10, so it's a accumulation of all of your experiences tied together in the final note. And it looks to me like if we're doing that, we've come through a lot of darkness, and we're going to start seeing some spots of illumination, right? This is the card that's crossing it, that's holding it back, and it says, but not yet. We have to learn a few things before we're ready to move on. This I happen to like. It's actually a candle, which is like spiritual illumination. But I have a candle like that I just found in my stuff while I was packing some things. And it actually came from a holy place. So I'm saying this looks to me like there's going to be some spiritual magic that happens possibly within the next week that is going to give us some illumination in a period that has been very dark. All right. So there could be some interesting stuff that's coming that we're not aware of and probably won't realize till after it's over with. Because that's a card, similar, same position, but different deck, of course. This is telling me there's been so much heartbreak, so much going on. And this is finally about the authority figures that are stepping into the right position to make things better for the people that have suffered with this 5 of Cups. So this could be something on a much larger scale. So it's not just happening in your neighborhood, but this could even be more of what's going on in our country, maybe even what's going on in the world. But this is about taking care of our nest, taking care of our home, tending to our own garden, and starting with our people, our family, our brothers, our sisters. And this is on the grander scale, okay? Inclusion of people, making it one big family, and then taking care of our own garden. These little discs means it's going to be this layer, then another layer, and then another layer again. So it's going to happen incrementally, but it looks like it's coming, okay? And that Aerophant is actually like a government card. So it could come, like I said, from a higher source. Kind of interesting. Let's see, what have we moved to the past? We're finally getting it. We're finally reflecting on what has happened. This is the Seven of Worlds, and sometimes that can even be that we've had so much delusion, that we are finally breaking through and getting some true information. Right? This is pretty interesting too, and it can have repercussions in our financial situation too. Okay, we're exhausted by all of this. It's like the old gray mare ain't what she used to be. That used to be a very old song. And that's kind of how we've gotten. It's like I'm exhausted by all this stuff that we've had to go through. There's a little more on the front that we have to wade through. This looks like a samurai warrior. It's like doing things for the right reasons. We've got a little more to go through, but then it looks like we have openings and opportunities. Anytime you see a disc, it usually has to do with physical, tangible things like money and investments and health and things like that. So this is a good card. It's the card of breakthrough. Who knows? We might even find that there's some medical stuff that going to help us with fighting this COVID-19. Okay, so just take it for what it's worth. And this card is continue with the meditations. We've got 3 really bright lights, so that people are thinking that, we have to meditate on getting rid of the bad stuff. Okay. What I'd like to suggest is that you meditate on bringing in the good stuff. Okay. So getting rid of the bad, you wipe the slate clean, but then there's nothing on the slate. So use your imagination to start building what it's going to take to get the world the way we want it to be, to live in. So this is elevating, it's lifting it to a higher level. And so that's what we have to include in our meditations, our prayers, whatever we're doing. You've got to replace it with something. So not just get rid of it, but what do we want to bring in? Okay, where are our hearts going to be leading us? Okay, that's what we need to focus on. And if my heart leads me there, it has to lead yours too. So, okay. And then we've got the 3 of Rods. A lot of this is about saying goodbye to what doesn't work for us anymore. But it's also about looking for your ship to come in. So it ties in with the other card, very similar. And know that we're going to have the fortitude to be able to make it happen. We just have to trust ourselves and also elicit help from the others of us. Okay? All right. These are pretty cool. Now let's see what ground we're standing on right now. This is kind of interesting to me, because this is the Wheel of Fortune. And what does it tell me? Time's up. Time to change. Things are going to be moving out of whatever realm you're in right now. So if we're struggling and everybody's on unemployment, all of that, this is telling me if there will be a turnaround. There's going to be a more positive outcome. And this is kind of giving me a time frame, but we might start seeing some of this after the end of Gemini. Okay. But this is also talking about, to me, it means smaller businesses that are starting to work together. So maybe some of the people that have lost out on their small business might partner up with another person that has suffered a loss, but together they can make a success out of it. Okay, so it's business partnerships, not just solitary. So could be leading us in an interesting spot. I do see that there's going to be a knowledgeable female influence here. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a huge disc right here. So it might be a new idea that's going to be very fertile, but it's going to come through the feminine. Um, um, mm, Lost my word, but coming from the feminine aspect or the feminine attitude toward rebuilding our finances, rebuilding our companies. And it's going to be a lot of influence from knowledgeable female, and not just older females. This is a lot of knowledgeable young females, okay? So, but that's what we're standing on. So we're going to have to start trusting that there's some female input here that is going to help us with innovation and moving into the next tier, the next layer. So immediate future here is take care of yourselves. Be very careful with what you're doing with your own personal health. This is about rest and recuperate. If it's necessary, do so. This is telling me, okay, you've got some great ideas, but you have to put down the ego so much and work on what looks like could be a very fruitful effort, okay? But it's not about ego. It's about ability to put your ideas together, right? So could be coming. When it's swords like that, usually means it's an intelligent person. I'm just getting off of then it might that card that it might be something that came from ego, and we have to back up and come with a different approach. Because if we continue same old, all we're going to get is negativity, and that ain't working. Okay, that's what it shows me, and we don't need that. All right. Okay, so then the future after that, here's the arguing out. And sometimes when you just sit with your anger, nothing gets resolved. This looks to me like there is going to be some resolution. There's actually resolution right there. There's resolution right there. This is about seeing it from somebody else's perspective. So it might take some rough times in order to get to, okay, we can figure this out. But it might not be that easy. We're going to have to work on it, right? And that card says, be patient with it. It's coming, you know. Okay, we've recognized it. Now all we have to do is change our perspective. Our perception will give us insight into what we need to be doing next, which is what this card is, okay? So this is about good advice on what our next steps should be. And it might even have to do with our financial planning and all that, right? What's going on for us, okay? This is going on. We are getting insight into what has been laid before us. And this is a major arcana, so it's not a minor thing, but it does mean take your time with it. We're not rushing through it and go, okay, that's done. It's like, no, you're going to have to kind of wring out what the lesson was with that, because this can be a teacher card too. So we're still learning what's going on right now before everything turns wonderful. This says we're pregnant with ideas, okay? So take your time. Each one of these watermelons are going, or gourds or something, is going to develop into another idea. And this one says, be mindful of that. It's not always that easy, right? Giving birth to a new idea, but it's coming. It's coming, right? And this card is saying you'll have the choice. It's not like you're going to be forced to do it. So remember that. Be mindful that your choices need to be wise and not made for you. So there's thinking, all these little crystals are thinking, and then coming up with a wise decision. Okay? We take our crystals and turn them into a diamond. Okay? 2 choices, crystals, mind activity. All right. Whee! Okay, family and friends. Still got some more stuff going on here. Let's have a look. Let's start with the bead card this time. This is, we have to support each other. You see this poor little person there? There's people that are not used to being without, and it's going to take a while for them to realize they may need to ask for assistance. And it may be you. You might be the neighbor. They might say, I'm sorry, can you loan me $5? I have to go get milk for the kids. And my check's not coming until Tuesday. All right? Be generous of spirit and be generous with all that you have, because that's where our humanity is. We're all children in this. We don't all know what we're doing. We've never been through this before. So be mindful of that and keep your eyes open to help others that are around you. And that's kind of what this is too. This is finding like-minded people that you want to hang with. And I don't usually do things politically, but there's this lady, Kamala, I can't remember her last name. Starts with a K, but she's in Burbank and she's running for city council. This is indicative of what she, as a new, I hate almost to use politician, but someone who's getting into politics now. You see the influences from women, but they're like-minded people, and they're finding answers and solutions. How? Through unity. All right. So if you're in Burbank, have a look at the newspaper. Remember, her name's Tamala. She's having a coming out tomorrow, Sunday, I think it is. But this is telling me that our answers lie in this key, with this key. All right. So mostly we've had men that are in our politics. This looks to me like there's a rising of females, but it is smooth and even and uplifting. Okay. So even if it's guys, it may be that their attitudes are changing to them. All right. So just know that. It just looks like they're a bunch of women. Anyway. And this card is saying, yeah, there's your success. The Chariot card means that the answers can come quickly and they're going to be successful. All right. So work together and put down being macho about anything, just working across the aisle, working together, and things turn out for the better. That's a major arcana. It's a Chariot card. It's a victory card. And it tells me that it'll be quick movements. All right. Let's see. What is this? Hopes and fears? Okay. We are in the midst of an evolution here. And now we're just trying to figure out, is this the evolution that we want? Am I afraid of this, or do I really want this? This card says, too late. You already started it. So if we started our changes, hang in there. We're going to flow from one thing to the other. I don't see anything scary and cataclysmic on this, but it's not that easy. We have to do it. We have to make a change in order to get to the next phase of it. All these circles are different, but one leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next, all right? So that's hopes and fears. This card says, can we play the game right? Can we figure out what we're doing? Yes, actually we can. So financially, we might turn out better because we've been forced to make these changes, but it's almost like we have to learn how to play the game. It's not going to be business as usual. It's a whole new ball game. And this is, let me see what my options are and let me see what we can do. This is great because it's almost like a shaman dealing with your own money. So it's not like letting other people make this decision for you. This is a very strong person. And actually, in this card, it looks like an older female. So that's all encompassing. So the attitudes about what you need to be doing for finances may change, as well as your opportunities to bring in more money. But she's playing a game. There's a game board and she's rolling dice or something. And there's a snake on here, which means it's going to have spiritual aspects to it. And this card says, you're just going to have to change your perspective. This is the Hanged Man, right? And the Hanged Man is like kind of holding you still. You're not going to be able to rush into something headlong and make horrible mistakes. It's like temper yourself, learn what needs to be learned, because back to the idea, it's a whole new ball game, and your attitude has to change about it. Mine too. I keep saying you, but it's me. This is a lesson for me too, right? And then our final outcome, what have we got? This is, all right, I'm finally comfortable with making choices. And this can be that there'll be a good choice and a better choice. But it says you've got to make one. You cannot just slide along and pretend that everything's going to work out, but I'm not having any influence in it. Not going to happen. The choice is yours. You have to make some wise decisions here, okay? And it looks like first you feel, then you think about it, and then you make a choice. Okay? So how do you feel about this? What is it going to take for you to feel secure? And then make the decisions that lead to that outcome. But this is a solitary person, so each one of us has to do that. Right? Sounds like Rialto Airport is having a fly-in or something. Okay, and surprise, surprise, here's another two. All right, once again, it looks like it's going to be a similar choice to make, but there's a major change. It's a game changer. And now we have to go back and replay our old tapes and then play the new tapes to figure out which one we really want to choose. So we've got two sets of twos, which means it could happen in 2 weeks or 2 months. that we need to be making these kinds of decisions. Yeah, it's two and two and two and two. I mean, there's just twos everywhere. There's two babies, there's two snake heads, there's two trees, lots of choices that are going to need to be made soon. Now, how's it going to work out for us? What's that mean? Ta-da! This is my biggest yes card. It's also, I always think of it as a victory card. Ace of Crystals. That means if you've done your homework, things are going to work out good. If you're just sliding along, letting everybody make your decisions for you, you might have to go through a couple more twos before you get there. All right? But this is the outcome, the final outcome. And this is my yes card. So we're going to be okay? Yes. But we have to get down and dirty and do our work. Okay? So this is pretty interesting. I imagine we're going to have a lot of repercussions with these cards beyond the next week or so. But this is good to know that we're working that direction. Hey, no idea what the airplane significance is. If you have any input, what you think that could mean, by all means, drop me a note in the comments. So if you like or want to subscribe, click on the little doodads on the bottom of the YouTube, and we'll get more people in on this, and maybe we'll get some questions that we can find answers for too. All right. So just remember, you can leave your spare change out on the front porch, and the fairies will appreciate it. So will the little gnomes and the dwarves. So, all right, y'all. I do love and care about you, and we're in this together. So see you soon, possums.